You are now listening to Serious Minds RN TV with your host, Professor Griff. The call-in number is 516-654-7688. That's 516-654-7688. This is Professor Griff, and this is Serious Minds RN TV. Serious Minds for Serious Minds. Seriously. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. Thank you. You are now listening to Serious Minds RN TV with your host, Professor Griff. The call-in number is 516-654-7688. That's 516-654-7688. This is Professor Griff, and this is Serious Minds RN TV. Serious Minds for Serious Minds. Seriously.
All right, greetings, family. Peace. What's good? All right, it's Professor Griff, and I'm black again for the second time this evening. And it was very interesting, the first conversation we had a few hours ago, which was very critical. And I normally don't come on Sundays, but I am here. All right, it was a beautiful conversation we had earlier, so I hope we can continue in that same spirit. As I asked earlier, of the people on the show, we were talking about the idea of when I say a baragani, what does that mean? And people not investing in themselves and their history enough to at least know the answer. I asked them to kind of go study, which will bring everybody kind of up to speed. And I reintroduced them to my the Alternative Black Studies course that I put together. All right. And you can kind of access that at www.professorgriff.me. But this evening, we're going to be talking about a very critical subject. The Ujamaa Shule school fights to maintain autonomy and longevity in a crowdfunding campaign. This is a school out of Washington, D.C. We're going to dive into that in just a second as we take care of a bit of the business. Shout out to the Serious Minds family on IG. Shout out to the Serious Minds family on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank y'all very much for coming on this evening to share this conversation with us. Shout out to my man Double B and the rest of the Serious Minds family. Quan, where you at? All right, got Little Goddess and of course my man Johnny Taylor in the wings somewhere. I guess they'll catch up sooner or later, maybe later on, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, thank y'all very much. I know some of y'all are still drunk, not literally drunk, but drunk off of eating food and celebrating and seeing your family and whatever. I guess you're not seeing your family because of the new variant that's out. But yeah, happy that that it's the unholy days. And I challenged a few people on that earlier. They said, well, happy holidays. I said, well, so happy about it. What holiday is it? And getting into that conversation, I just said, well, we'll wait till a little bit later on to have that conversation. But in any event, all right, I was also talking about the idea of pagan. Is pagan a bad word? And then why did the people who murdered and set fire to pagans turn around and adopted pagan holidays? It is very confusing. It is very, very, very confusing. Very confusing. Hopefully we can kind of dissect it a little bit later on and piece it apart. But for right now, we're going to be talking about this very critical subject in reference to education. All right. Ujamaa Shule School fights to maintain autonomy and longevity in a crowdfunding campaign. The founder and director continues to espouse Pan-African nationalism, educational independence. All right. Educational independence. Share my screen and then we're going to kind of dive into it. Make sure you put on your thinking caps. Make sure you stay tuned until the end. There's some information that we need to kind of give out so that you can start right now by Googling the Ujamaa Shule, S-H-U-L-E school. All right. Just Google it. Ujamaa Shule school. All right. So you could become awake and aware. Now, we don't want you to participate in the story tonight and then leave it up to someone else to solve that particular issue. All right. You have to make it your own. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Let me share my screen. Let's dive into it. All right. Once again, the Ujamaa Shule School fights to maintain autonomy and longevity in a crowdfunding campaign. You say, why? Peace. What's up, Dr. Khalid El Hakim? Maybe you can chime in on this. You say, why a crowdfunding campaign? Because if it's an independent school, Doc, what's good with you, bro? If it's an independent school, why would independent Pan-African nationalistic educational independent organizations and schools rely on government? It seems like he who pays the piper normally calls the tune. But if you're teaching a Pan-African and coming from a Pan-African centered perspective, what makes you think the government is going to fund that kind of thing? So you kind of figure you might have to rely on the people to help fund this kind of education, independent education. All right. See, a lot of times people talk the talk, but when it comes down to walking the walk, all right, we have to dive into and take a deep dive into what it truly means now to have a free and independent education. All right. Free of pedophiles. All right. Free of child molestation. All right. Free of education and an educational system that holds our children back. Free of mandatory shots which poison the children. Free of all of these things that will hinder a child in its education. Free of banning critical race theory. When we talk about critical race theory, we're only talking about having and putting students in front of teachers that look like them and teaching an education with them in it. All right. I remember hearing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that when you look at religion or the Bible, where do you find yourself in that? When you look at an educational system, where do you see yourself? Dr. Khalid El Hakim said it's our duty to support and maintain our own schools. All right? Our own schools. We say our own schools. We're not talking about just having a black face. LP, fire medic. What's good with you, good bro? When we talking about our own schools, we don't only mean a black face with a white curriculum. That will only produce Negropeans. All right, Monique Hill, what's good with you? When we talk about our schools, we come talking about schools with black people in the curriculum. Positive education always corrects errors, but positive examples of independent black people, accomplished black people doing and accomplishing positive things so that we can at least see ourselves in a positive light. All right? In any event, Ujamaa Shule, the first and oldest independent African-centered school in the U.S., will soon commemorate 54 years of existence. 54 years. What other institution that you know that's black, that have lasted this long, supporting itself? All right? So while we have other people searching for a place to set up a school, we're having other people having this grandiose idea of having independent schools. This school has been in existence for 54 years. All right? For weeks, school officials have been in the throes of having a crowdfunding campaign geared towards building and renovations. All right? With any school, even the finest schools need renovation. Not only renovating the building physically, but adapting with the time. All right? Going back over the curriculum, taking some things out, adding some things, strengthening it. There's books that come out every single year that a school like this should be adding to its library. I'm in Baltimore and I've never even heard of this school. Well, let's go Google it, all right? Karma, let's Google it. All right, Ujamaa Shule School. School located in the Shaw neighborhood has caught the eye of developers in recent years. That's why Ujamaa Shule founder and director Dr. L. Senzingan Gakulu, Zulu, affectionately known as Baba Zulu. We just gonna call him Baba Zulu because with this twist, my African black tongue cannot right now. I'll get it, but not now. Has asked for 35,000 people of African descent living in the United States to contribute at least $15 apiece to fund much needed repairs. $15, fam. Talking $15, that's 2 trips or maybe one trip to damn Starbucks. 1 trip to Wally World, which is Walmart. 1 trip to the corner store. Come on, $15, 35,000 of us. I'm sure. LP, your ass about to get fucking fired, bro. Seriously, come on here asking no dumb shit like that. You about to get blocked. You better do your homework, bro. Yeah, you about to get blocked for real. Yeah, this is the no tolerance evening, Sunday evenings. No, do your homework, bro. Nah. In 1968, Dr. Zulu, a founding member of the non-student coordinating committee, launched Ujamaa Shule with 2 others to foster Black Youth Academy, fortitude, and African identity. He touted African-centered education as the only means by which youth can overcome obstacles and collectively work on the interests of the African diaspora. To ensure that the Ujamaa Shule remain true to its mission, Dr. Zulu has refused financial support from non-African corporations and the DC government, even as other African-centered schools receive funds and transition into public charter schools. Wow. So right now, while we're in the middle of this article, where do you send your children? Who are your children being educated by? What kind of education is your children receiving as we speak right now? You said, can we send donations? Well, let me get a Cash App, or let me get a information on where we could send. Hold on. My friend Erica, who I've been friends with, man, Erica, I think we've been friends for 20 years. Sent me the article. I read it. I was like, wow. I said, I need to talk about this because I'm not sure if y'all know, but your brother, Professor Griff, has been in education for a long time. Shout out to Dr. Khalid El Hakim for the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, whom I've been working with now. 2022 will be 18 years or 19 years, Khalid. Help me out, bro. All right. I'm waiting to get the information. Thank you very much, Erica. All right, the Cash App is $Ujamaa School. That's $UJAMAASCHOOL. Ujamaa School. $. Oh, damn. Thank you very much, Khalid. Really appreciate that, good bro. I'll put it on the screen. All right. Ujamaa School. If everyone that's on here asks 10 other people to donate $15, then we can make it happen. So let's start donating right now as we speak. All right, let me finish this article. It says, to ensure that the Ujamaa Shule remain true to its mission, Dr. Zulu has refused financial support from non-African corporations and the DC government, even as other African-centered schools receive funds and transition into public charter schools. Our school is based on and I quote, our school is based on Pan-African nationalist ideology. All right. If you do not know what that means, you need to look it up. Look up what a Pan-African is. Look up what Pan-African nationalism is. What is a nationalist? All right. What is nationalist ideology? What is an ideology? It says we believe in separate lives and doing for self. I'm going to say that again in English. All right. Maybe with a DJ backspinning behind me. We believe in. What's wrong with the idea of doing for self, fam? I'm just throwing out there. I'm just curious. All right. What is wrong with that idea? Separate lives and doing for self. Zulu said, there have been several charter schools that have set up their programs similar to us and did an excellent job. Because they have done that, the government shut them down, but they can't do that to us. Why did the government shut these other schools down? And what is it about having a curriculum that speaks to the development and growth and education of people that look like us? What is wrong with that? You ain't never in your life read a history of rabbits sending their little rabbits to squirrel school to have the squirrels educate the rabbits. Am I right or wrong? Come on now. No. The only thing the rabbits will get out of that is having their rabbit children grow up to be miniature squirrels with a squirrel mentality and a squirrel education. and the squirrel indoctrination. Am I right or wrong? Come on. Since its inception, Ujamaa Shule has not only boosted its students' reading and math aptitude, but introduced them to an African continent and historical figures who fought for the advancement of African people across the globe. The alumni have entered various career paths, including education, engineering, law, and entertainment. So what is wrong with us asking those that are successful in this world's life to now give back and donate back to the school? Not wrong with that. I'm not afraid to ask Mayweather for about 100,000. It's like, yo, son, for real, the school needs it. Write it off on your taxes, bro. What's wrong with that? Students at Ujamaa Shule wear African clothing. What did I just say? They wear African clothing? That cuts the whole peer pressure thing. Cuts that out. Then you get to learn about what prints mean what from what African nation and what African tribe. That's the education within inside of itself. So you ain't got to come to school to compete. Because I know when I was going to school when I was young, man, you caught me on an off day, man. It's like, yo, them jeans got worn 3 times a week with a different top. I'm dead set. I'm not lying. Because we just had to compete. That's just the kind of thing that they put in us, man. And then we got indoctrinated and marrying our spirit onto their brands rather than marrying our spirit onto our ancestral knowledge and African centeredness. I'm going to put where you can donate to the school back up on the screen. I mean, it's imperative that we do that. All right. $ Ujamaa School. All right. $UJAMAASCHOOL. All right. Do we even know what it looks like to have our child from the time that they are brought to school and introduced to this idea of education, having an education that speaks to their greatness? Have we ever saw that? Have we ever seen this in our lives? Nightly assignments, which students are required to complete with family members, often involve watching local and national news and following the developments in an African country of the student's choosing. That gives them a global perspective. When you talk about global political science, this is what this does in real time. All right? When you're talking about global political science, you're not getting that until you go to college. But if they're getting it at a young age, then that broadens their perspective. All right? Students also are required to complete papers about prominent African ancestors, some of whom have been painted on the walls of the school, located at Q Street between 8th and 9th Streets in Northwest Washington, D.C. Do y'all know where 8th Street is? Q Street between 8th and 9th? Well, this is where the school is. All right? So if you ain't got the money right now, drop by, drop a check off, drop the bag off. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, way beyond a bag, drop a duffel bag off full of money and just say, look, Professor Griff said, yo, y'all might need this 100,000. All right? You said it's by Howard? Okay. Abina Bonsu, a 10-year-old Ujamaa Shule student who's currently taking college equivalent coursework, said the school continues to help her pursue her dream of entering the science field and speaking on behalf of African people in the U.S. and around the world. We need somebody at the UN, all right, in the world courts, the IMF, and the World Bank, and some of these other places speaking up for Black Africans in the African diaspora. All right. And I quote, I like learning about African history and heritage and science and math, Abina said. In science, I've been learning about elements, matter, nature, and natural disasters. I want to help African people just like Kwame Nkrumah, Malcolm X, and Denmark Vesey, who inspired me. Woo! So last time we heard that. Last time we had a Black History Month without getting the same old madness shoved down our throats. Last time you had a Black History Month with Black history and Black historical figures other than Rosa Parks and Dr. King. And even when you get Dr. King, they don't feed you the real one, the more radical one. And then when you do study about them individuals, we get the same stuff crammed down our throat every year. After I Have a Dream and Rosa Parks on the bus, that is it for your Black History Month. So thanks to Ujamaa Shule and the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, that dynamic has changed greatly. All right, and those are not the only two. There's numerous numbers of individuals and organizations that tell the truth about our history and who we are as a people, whether it's Black History Month and now Juneteenth and all the other days that we should be talking about our history. Yeah, I feel like I'm learning and excelling more. All right, Osei said. My peers in other schools aren't learning all about that, all about they should, and they're not getting an African-centered perspective. Ujamaa has helped me, has helped put me in a place where I can see what I can contribute to an African society. All right. Bro 8 just donated. Thank you very much. Thank you for all those individuals. Tanjan, you donated. Thank you very much. Doc, who else? I put the Black Power fist up if you donated. All right. Over the years, running Ujamaa School has become a family affair. And we're not only talking about blood family. All right. We're talking about like minds. We're talking about serious minds attracting serious minds. Seriously, becomes your family. Family. All right. Akina Zulu, one of the elder Zulu's 6 children, who's known as Mama Akina, has served as an English, social studies, and visual arts teacher for 25 years. You're talking about being consistent in someone's life. All right. She said her greatest rewards lies in interacting with young people who teach her as much as she teaches them. You're talking about African principles being put in place, pulling up as we climb. I'm able to lay a foundation they can carry for the rest of their lives. Mama Akina said, it's good to have them go on and receive their graduate degrees and hear parents thanking me. African-centered education can only go as far as African people can go. The more we are pushed, the better we will be. Harold Bartram, a teacher and parent of 3 Ujamaa Shule alumni, said he enjoys working with a diasporic African community and watching students progress in an environment without limits. And that's the beautiful part about it. Growing, learning, and operating in an environment without limits. Creating an environment that's safe. Creating an environment that's nurturing the spirit and the growth of Black students. This is a world that we live in that's being made over without us in it. Other than the Dr. Martin Luther King Drive and Boulevard in every city, name another leader that some of these streets and buildings in these cities are named after Black people. Where at? You know something? When you walk down a street that's named after your ancestors, you know what that does for you? When you're in a building that's named after your ancestors, all right? When you have a curriculum that you go to school every day and you take an oath and you pledge in the spirit of your ancestors, when you go through that school and in the morning they pour libation and you call on the spirit of your ancestors to guide you through that day, you know how important that is? Students can progress based on how quickly they develop. It gives them a challenge and they try to accomplish a goal for themselves rather than what the government wants. That's it. They push themselves. You can grow as fast as you want to grow. And if you need to skip a couple of grades, then by all means. I wish I went to a school like that. Now, how many of us have tried to wrap our brains around public school education, whether in New York, D.C., Michigan, Florida, or any of these places, and end up getting left back? He says there's a statue of Billie Holiday on Pennsylvania Avenue. I feel so important when I stand near it. My daughter went to Matthew Henson Elementary. Okay. We need schools and buildings and educational systems named after our people and in the spirit of our ancestors who have sacrificed for us. Ujamaa Shule is accepting contributions via the Cash App. All right, and the Cash App is on the screen. $ Ujamaa School. And by check or money order, that could be sent to 1554 8th Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Ujamaa School, 1554 8th Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20001. All right? Or take a duffel bag full of money and go to the school. All right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Muhammad says free Ujamaa Shule. All right? Ujamaa Shule is perhaps the oldest independent Black school in the country, but it faces daily challenges in 2021, including harassment by D.C. city officials, some believe, to drive the legendary African-centered school out of the centrally located Shore neighborhood. It's the latest episode of Gentrification Chronicle with an anti-Black power twist. The Ujamaa Shule needs and deserves a strong show of support and solidarity. Family, you know gentrification has been going on. They want us out of the inner cities. Like I said a couple of shows ago, after white flight, white people left the inner cities, leaving the dangers of the inner cities to us, and we survived it by building businesses and schools. So now they want to come back and claim it, and now they want to come back and, gentrify and re-gentrify the area. by taking black independent schools like this and running them off the property and out of business. Why don't we just take a look at some of those other races of people that never send their children to black teachers to be taught or other schools to be taught? They educate their own. Ujamaa is the Kiswahili name for the fourth of the Nguzo Saba, the seven principles upon which the Kwanzaa is based. Ujamaa means cooperative economics. Shul in Swahili, the Swahili word for school. All right, Ujamaa means Ujamaa. Ujamaa means cooperative economics. Ujamaa. Forgive my African tongue. It ain't quite there yet. It's been kidnapped by some Europeans. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Shul, the Swahili word for school, was founded in 1968. All right. 1968, I was 8. Like 8. You're right, Vinny, Muhammad. We need to educate our own and begin the process of educating our own. All right. Family, as we slowly move through the celebration of Kwanzaa for the next 6 days, when we talk about cooperative economics, let's keep in mind that no one's going to finance the revolution for us. And revolution is complete, constructive, conscious, cosmic change. All right? No one's going to fund and finance our education. We have to do that. All right? We have to begin to start thinking in terms of self-awareness, self-determination, self-empowerment. Stop waiting on someone else to validate you. Can you imagine that? You sitting around waiting on somebody that's blind, deaf, and dumb to validate you. They don't see you or have your vision. Nah, not at all. They just don't. So when we start thinking in terms of Spencer Muhammad, Ali, you're absolutely correct. When we as black people begin to think about reparations, we have to think in terms of someone who's going to be speaking in our behalf. I don't think those individuals that's going to be speaking on our behalf are going to come from white institutions with that Eurocentric white mindset. All right? So let's think in terms of doing something for self, family. All right? I want to thank Erica for sending me this subject because it's a very timely one. And keep in mind, family, the way to donate to the school is on the screen. $ Ujamaa School, UJAMAASCHOOL. Ujamaa School. All right. He says Dr. Amos Wilson wrote a brilliant book, Blueprint for Black Power, and the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wrote a book explaining cooperative economics and doing for self. Yes, indeed. And I believe both of those books are at the school. All right. Let's support independent Black schools, independent Black thinking, independent Black people. All right. Love y'all to life. This is Professor Griff, and I'm signing out. All right. Serious minds for serious minds. Seriously. All right. All right. I'm late to this. Where can I find out more about the school? You have to Google it. Ronan Ali, you have to Google it. All right, they're in Washington, D.C. All right, great filibuster. Thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate that. Make sure we support the school. All right. All right. Make sure we support the school. Now, y'all done sent people monies and ain't seen a damn school. So can we support a school that's standing, has been in operations 54 years? Come on, fam. All right. It's Professor Griff. I love y'all to life. Not to death. I love you all to life, man. All right. Peace. All right. Peace, Erica. It's Muhammad on it. Making it happen.
The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. Thank you. The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting cells and increasing neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. This is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Resurrection Formula. This male reproductive tonic elixir is the resurrection you've been looking for. It is a stimulating sexual tonic with mild androgen-like effects that is nourishing to the reproductive system. You can order them at www.professorgriff.me and www.serious SeriousMindsInstitute.com. Just call 678-557-2919. Your health is your wealth. Peace. Welcome to Tricknology, where we focus in on safety, training, education, and legal protection. This is Professor Griff, NRA, USCCA certified instructor. Classes are being held twice a month. Contact me at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. Thank you, and welcome to Tricknology, safety, training, education, and legal protection.